Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, you picked a great day to show up. Because today we are talking about a show that has been absolutely slept on for too long. And season 2 just arrived to remind the entire anime world that it is here. I'm talking about Wistoria, Wand and Sword. Now if you watched season 1 back in 2024, you already know. The stunning animation, the incredible underdog story. Will Surfort, a boy with zero magic ability, fighting his way through a world that runs entirely on magic, using nothing but a sword and sheer unstoppable willpower. 2 years later, Season 2 is finally here. And Episode 1 just dropped on April 12th. And let me tell you, it wastes zero time getting into the action, the emotion, and a jaw-dropping ending that sets up what could be the wildest season yet. Today on this channel, we are breaking down everything that happened in Wistoria, Wand and Sword Season 2, Episode 1, Barrier Day. If you're a Wistoria fan, smash that like button right now. And if you haven't subscribed yet, hit it. We are covering every episode of Season 2 right here. Let's get into it. Before we get into the episode, let's do a quick introduction for anyone who missed Season 1. Because this show deserves every new viewer it can get. Wistoria, Wand and Sword, is set in a world where magic is everything. The most powerful magic users are called Magia Vanda, elite mages who sit at the very top of society and are responsible for maintaining the Great Barrier, a massive magical shield in the sky known as the Fake Sky, that protects the entire kingdom from an ancient supernatural threat called the Celestial Host. Our hero is Will Surfort, a student at Rigarden Magical Academy. There's just one problem. Will cannot use magic. Not a single spell. In a world ruled entirely by wands, Will has a sword, and he is absolutely lethal with it. His driving motivation? His childhood friend Elfaria, a prodigy who became the youngest Magia Vanda in history. Will promised to reach her, to fight by her side as her personal knight. And that promise pushes him through every single obstacle, insult, and failure. Season 1 saw Will prove himself against the odds, surviving dungeon raids, earning respect from even his toughest rivals, and defeating the evil Grand Duke during the all-student praxis. By the end, the school finally started seeing Will for what he truly was. Season 2 picks up 2 months later. The graduation exams have arrived, and what happens in Episode 1 is both heartbreaking and electrifying. The episode opens 2 months after the events of Season 1. The 6th-year students of Rigarden Academy are sitting their written graduation exams, a crucial hurdle that determines whether they advance to the tower, which is the next step toward becoming a Magia Vanda. And Will? He is crushing it. Every single subject, history, theory, dungeon strategy, monster lore, Will scores perfectly. Near perfect scores across the board. Because here's what makes Will so compelling. He can't use magic, so he has always had to outwork everyone in every other area. His written exam scores have always been his lifeline, compensating for the one area where he simply cannot compete. His friends, Colette, Rosti, Sion and the rest, are all grinding through their exams around him. The academy is buzzing with nervous energy. This is one of the most important tests of their academic lives. And then comes the final exam, and everything comes crashing down. The final exam is overseen by Professor Edward. And if you watch Season 1, you already know that Edward is Will's most persistent and bitter obstacle. He has never accepted Will. He has never seen past the inability to use magic. And his hatred for Will is deeply personal in a way the show hasn't fully explained yet. And so when it's time for the final exam question, the one Edward is responsible for, it is the most targeted, deliberate act of cruelty in the episode. The question requires the use of magic to answer. Not knowledge about magic, not theory, actual practical magic. The one thing Will cannot do. The one question in the entire graduation process that is specifically and perfectly designed to make Will fail. Every other student in the room can answer it. Will sits there, staring at it, unable to write a single word. He fails the exam. And the way the episode handles this moment is really well done. It doesn't turn it into a screaming rage scene. Will just absorbs the result quietly, and you see everything in his expression. The devastation, the exhaustion. He has worked harder than anyone in that school. He has earned perfect scores everywhere he could. And one professor's targeted question takes it all away in an instant. What makes it even more painful is that everyone around Will knows exactly what Edward did. His classmates see it. His friends see it. Even his rivals who once looked down on him now look uncomfortable at the unfairness of it. Will has earned their respect, and watching this happen to him clearly doesn't sit right with anyone. While all of this is unfolding, the episode also gives us some really charming character moments that add warmth and a little bit of comedy to the tension. Colette, Will's classmate and closest friend, who has a very obvious, very adorable crush on him, finds Will asleep in the library at one point during the exam period. And in a moment that is equal parts sweet and concerning, she leans in to try to kiss him while he's sleeping. And Rosti walks in and shuts it down immediately. These two are in a constant, barely contained rivalry for Will's attention. And the episode plays it for laughs while also hinting at something more complicated underneath. Colette is beginning to border on obsessive, and there are reviewers already noting that her feelings for Will feel like they're building towards something that could reshape the story significantly. For now, it's funny, but there's an edge to it. Colette also has strong opinions about Elfaria. She doesn't like that Will sacrifices so much for someone who, from her perspective, just sits at the top of the tower while Will bleeds for her down below. It's a complicated, emotionally loaded perspective, and the episode doesn't dismiss it. She has a point, and that tension is going to matter. While the graduation exam drama is unfolding at the academy, the episode also takes us to the broader world of Garden, the central capital of magic, for the annual Terminalia festival. Terminalia is essentially the New Year's celebration of this world. A massive city-wide festival where the entire population gathers to watch the Magia Vander perform the renewal of the Great Barrier. It's both a spiritual ceremony and a practical necessity. The barrier that forms the fake sky needs to be regularly re-energized by the combined magic of all the Magia Vander to keep the celestial host from breaking through. The visuals here are genuinely gorgeous. The fake sky lights up with magical fireworks as the Magia Vander channel their power into the barrier. The crowds are celebrating. The city is alive and beautiful. And the Magia Vander, after pouring everything they have into the renewal ritual, are completely exhausted. Their magic is drained. They need time to recover. The episode makes sure you understand exactly what this means. Every single one of the world's most powerful magic users just used up everything they had. At this exact moment, if something were to attack, there would be nobody powerful enough to stop it. And of course, someone was waiting for exactly this moment. As the Terminalia festival is in full swing and the crowd is celebrating, an ominous magic circle appears in the night sky. Something is tearing through the barrier from outside. And through it come the season's first true villains, identified only as Assassin and Headless, who send a wave of devil-like monsters with halos on their heads, pouring down into the city during the festival. The timing is deliberate and calculated. The Magia Vander just exhausted their magic. The city is packed with civilians celebrating. The monsters are coming from above, through the fake sky, which was supposed to be the world's greatest protection. Everything that was meant to be safe is suddenly not safe. Will, meanwhile, is still sitting with the weight of his failed exam, heartbroken, feeling like the goal he's worked toward his entire life just slipped further away. But now, right in front of him, people need saving. And when that happens, Will Surfert does not sit still. The episode ends right there, on the chaos breaking loose, and Will being faced with a chance to do what he has always done best. Not with magic, with his sword. So that is Wistoria Wand and Sword Season 2, Episode 1, Barrier Day. And what an opening episode it is. It does everything a great premiere should do. It reintroduces the characters naturally. It reminds you what's at stake for Will. It deepens the tension around Edward's discrimination. It develops the Colette and Rosti dynamic in ways that feel loaded with future consequences. And it ends with a citywide crisis that strips away every structural safety net. The Magia Vander are exhausted. The barrier has been breached. And Will is the one person in the middle of all of it who fights without magic. The animation is stunning, arguably even better than Season 1. The emotional quietness of the exam failure scene is handled with real maturity. And the arrival of Assassin and Headless at the end is the kind of villain introduction that makes you immediately sit forward. 2 years was a long wait, but Wistoria is absolutely back. And Season 2 looks like it's going to be something special.
And that is your full breakdown of Wistoria. Wand and Sword. Season 2, Episode 1. Barrier Day. Will acing every exam only for Edward to rig the final question against him. Colette almost making some very bad decisions in the library. The Great Barrier Renewal draining every single Magia Vander dry. And then Assassin and Headless sending monsters raining down into the festival the moment the most powerful mages in the world are completely powerless to stop it. This season is going to be incredible. Now I want to hear from you in the comments. What do you think about Professor Edward? Is he just a petty bully, or is there something deeper going on with his hatred for Will? And what are your theories on Assassin and Headless? Who do they work for, and what do they actually want? Drop your thoughts below. Let's talk about it. If this breakdown helped you, a like genuinely helps this channel reach more Wistoria fans. It only takes a second. And if you want every single episode of Season 2 covered right here, subscribe and hit the bell. See you next week for Episode 2. Until then, the sword is mightier than the wand.